everybody. Welcome to Hubby and I with the Sonnies. We're so excited to be with you again. We are excited because we want to, as we told you guys, that our lives is what we really want to share with you. We don't want it to be something that we just kind of look and we're just sitting down talking to you, but we want you to see our lives, our real lives, and we want to keep it real with you as much as possible. So on Saturday, it is tradition in our house that on Saturday, my husband cooks for the family. So this morning you're with us as he's making breakfast. That's just something he likes to do. He likes to cook for us, cook for me as his wife, and cook for his children. He will make eggs, pancakes, and things like that. So you're actually going to be with us, and we're going to have the show today and have our discussion as he's making breakfast. So in the meantime, we're just going to wait a few minutes and have people join us. And we just want to recognize some of you that are watching as you join us. But for the most part, he's just going to be cooking, and we want you to please, because we're live now, share this video, put your comments, likes, and also we want you to, what were we telling them that they need to do?
We don't know how to do it.
What is it?
That they do something so that anytime we're live, they will.
Yeah, so I think that there's something you're supposed to click that when you are, when we are live, you can, it's going to give you like an alert. I don't know what is it that, what are we supposed to click?
It's called a post notification.
Oh yeah, so they go and click their post notification. So yeah, if you want us to come up, like, you know, whenever we go live, it's going to let you know. You have to go to post notification. My children says they're more savvy at this computer generation thing.
Okay, so I love to cook breakfast.
On Saturday mornings.
On Saturday mornings. My wife has spoiled me. I used to be a good cook, but now not so much of a good cook because she cooks all these delicious meals. But for her sake and for the sake of the children, I love to do Saturday breakfast. That of late I have not been consistent because of schedule, but I'm getting back slowly. The children are always telling me how much they love my breakfast cooking. Today is going to be a very simple meal so that we can get into the show quickly, or get on with the show very quickly. So I'm just making omelets with tomatoes and bell pepper, onions. I need onions. Please
Okay,
get
I'll get you some onions.
All right. So, well, this is important to me because I want to do something special for my family. I want to do something special for the children. And over time, I've noticed that the children really like it. My wife likes it because it takes the load off of her. So I'm happy to do it. It's just that I'm only available Saturday morning when I'm available. And
I'm not usually with him in the kitchen. The reason why I'm with him today is because we're doing it over the show where he's cooking while we're having Hubby and I show. On Saturday mornings, I like to kind of sleep in, and sometimes I'm in bed. So after he makes breakfast, sometimes he'll bring it to me in bed. He's done that before in the past where I had breakfast in bed. So the thing also is, sometimes, I remember there was this particular time, it wasn't on a Saturday, but I just was, I don't know, I was just resting, and he was gonna go to work that morning. But then I was like, I really would like to eat pancakes, you know? And so he went into the kitchen and he made me pancakes with sausage and bacon and
all for love.
You know, and then he brought it to me. That was when we were living in a home where our bedroom was upstairs, and he climbed up the stairs. I could hear the table, you know, the tray rattling, like, you know, as it was coming up the stairs, and with the syrup and everything. And then he brought it, and I was like, wow, thank you so much. So it's really nice when you do a nice gesture for, you know, like this whole thing of women are the only one that's supposed to be in the kitchen and all of that. Well, you know, sometimes you make an exception and you know, go out of your way to make me something.
Well, you know, sometimes in some situations, I think some men are better cooks than their wives, you know, but in this case, I have surrendered. I used to think I was all that, but I've given up. I've ceded that title to my wife, but I know she enjoys me making breakfast, so I will do breakfast. And my children, they love me doing breakfast too.
Okay, so should we get, so we've been on for a few minutes now, so whoever was gonna join us would have joined us, but we need to really get into the show and what we wanted to discuss today as far as hubby and I. We want to talk about leadership in the home. We want to talk about how it's important for a husband to have a role in the home, and also for a wife to have a role in the home, because it's important for us to understand our roles and to know how to play those roles. So, like, honey, you want to talk a little bit about that before I add something to it?
Well, you go ahead. You go.
Well, I feel that it's important for us to understand that if we're going to have a functioning environment, a functioning home, someone has to be in leadership, meaning like one has to pretty much lead and the other follow. And you know, that is a difficult concept for a lot of people in this day and age. That, well, what do you mean? There's this equality of, like, you know, you're equal. Yeah, you're supposed to be equal and all of that. When we talk about leadership in the home, we're not saying that the wife is any less as far as inferior. You know, we're not saying that a wife is less smart or less able to do anything or less able to make decisions, but we need to function in roles. It's important for us to function in roles because it just helps things flow better. For example, you know, when you have a company, in a company, people, you have someone who is the CEO, and then you have other people that are, you know, so does that mean that the people that are under the CEO cannot do the job of the CEO? Or does it mean that they're not as smart as the CEO? Nevertheless, there's still a CEO that everybody has to report to. So it is the same thing pretty much with marriage, you know, that you have to have the final, like, where the buck stops, pretty much, honey.
I think I like the example you have given, but another example that supports this pretty well, I think, is flying an airplane. In the airplane, you have the captain, and then you have the first officer. The first officer is also the co-pilot. Everything the pilot can do, the co-pilot can do as well. But one person is in charge, and that is the captain. The captain gives the instructions, the co-pilot and the flight engineer and everybody else, they follow. It's important that they do that, otherwise what you're going to have is chaos. And because in the Bible, the church, the relationship of Christ with the church is likened with our marriage relationship. And one of the examples we see with the life of Jesus is when Jesus was on earth, even though he was fully God and fully man, the second person of the Godhead, while he was here in chapter 5 of the Gospel according to John, Jesus said, of myself, I can do nothing. He said, as I see the Father do, that is what I do. What he's saying is, I take instructions from my Father before I do anything, so that we can maintain things in order, like my wife said. So it's very, very critical in the family that we have order. And part of having order is to have clear leadership. Someone has to be in charge. We both cannot be in charge. Even though the wife may not be directly in charge, the Bible is clear that as Christ is the head of the church, so is the man the head of his wife. So that is the expected relationship in marriage. But of course, the counsel and the thoughts of the wife are taken into consideration in all of this. I guess I'm a little distracted because of my cooking.
That's okay.
I'm a man. Men don't.
They don't know how to do multiple things at the same time. But that's okay. We'll let him slide. So what we really want to do now, because we've already established what we're talking about. So in our particular family, how do we make this work? Like, how are we able to make this function where you are clearly, the children understand that daddy has the final say? You know, how do you, so in you having the final say, you still allow me, you tell the children, go ask your mother. Like, I'm not dealing with this. I don't know anything about this issue. Don't even ask me. So like, for example, when it comes to the children going places, the children doing things, or anything that has to do with the children, you usually tell them, go tell your mom, go ask your mom. If you are in charge, honey, how is it that you're always telling the children to go come to me? Why? So that our audience can understand how we make it work. And what does that mean, really? Does that make you less in charge, that you're telling them to go to me?
Very clearly, the Bible said regarding Adam, God said he was going to make Adam a helpmate that is suitable for him. The truth of the matter is, when God created the man, he created a man. When he created the woman, he created a woman. And he put certain things in the man and certain other things in the woman, such that both people ought to complement one another. My wife compliments me in so many different ways. Matter of fact, during the week, I was writing some things and I showed her the thoughts that I had in my mind. And that is why, if I was writing on, what was it I was writing on? I said, the purpose of a wife, or something like that. The purpose of a wife,
and then you said how I compliment you, and there's some things that I just do well. And, you know, and the whole idea of helpmeet. I'm a compliment to him. Every woman should be a compliment to their husband in every way. You should compliment him in every way, in every shape, in every form. So me, whatever it is that my husband is not good at, I should be able to have the skills to help him in that area. And of course, it's not every, you know, when we talk about, when you lay down a rule, there's always an exception. You know, so some things that he's not good at and I'm not good at, and we need somebody, we need to figure out who's gonna help us, you know, and really that's why we also have a team of people that we relate with. But for the most part, when the Bible talks about a helpmeet, you're a helpmeet to your husband, it's not talking about you being his slave. It's not meaning that you do the things that he doesn't want to do. No, you know, a helpmeet is somebody, like, obviously if he can do it by himself, then he doesn't need help. But you know, obviously he needs help. You know, we all really need help. And so I am that individual in his life that helps him to get the job done better. You know, sort of like how the Holy Spirit is our helper. You know, it's very, very similar in that sense and in that regard. So the woman is not in any shape or form less than her husband, right, honey?
No. She's not less.
She's not less than her husband.
No.
Just because he's the one that makes the final decision, let's put it, doesn't mean that. Why are you laughing?
Well, it looks like most people are viewing on your page, not on the Hubby and I page. So there's a lot of comments. Nereus, hi, how you doing? Good morning, good to see you. Mina says, Pastor, teach Victor
how to cook.
I guess she's talking about the cooking. And Lakeisha is also here. Lakeisha, good morning. Excellence Sambo says, Sani, send my own to Nigeria. And a good morning, you all, Bibi. Just so you know that there's people already making comments.
So that I know, or that who knows, honey?
So that we know. We both know people are making comments.
Okay. So one of the things that we're trying to establish is for everybody to really... We decided to go live on my page as well because it seems like everybody wants to watch it on my page. But I would really like it if everybody would watch it on, hopefully the next episode. Everybody will watch it on Hubby and I. So if you haven't already liked Hubby and I, please go to that page and like it so that you can watch it directly from Hubby and I. But for the most part, I hope that you're understanding what we're trying to get across to you today, which is the fact that a woman is not any less than her husband. Her brain is not functioning less. Her abilities are not less. It's just that it helps any organization. I would like to consider a marriage it's an institution. So it needs to function. And in order to function, someone has to ultimately, we probably shouldn't do that because it's going to make it just, we don't mind the house smelling like eggs for today. So you can turn the light on as well. So for any woman who feels that she is less than her husband because she's a helpmeet or because he's in charge, should not feel that way. And any man out there who feels that it's his job to make his wife a slave and treat her inappropriately, I think, honey, as you're doing that, maybe I would really like for you to talk more about that. A lot of men are treating their wives in a bad way. For example, even though my husband he's in charge in our home, he treats me with the absolute respect. I can't even begin to explain how much respect he gives me. And even the fact that we have a ministry together. We pastor a church. In the church, he lets everybody understand that my wife is also your pastor. You know, and that's really important. But then at the same time, it's important for women to educate themselves. It's important for women to make sure that they're aware. It's important for a woman to also step up to the plate. If your husband cannot trust you to handle situation, why will he, put you in a position to do so? If your husband cannot tell you, okay, I'm going to travel, handle the home, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for him to be able to put things, in your hands to be able to handle well. The reason why my husband allows me to do the things that I do in the church is because he knows that I am capable. I make sure that I study the Bible. I'm not just up there looking cute. you know, I'm not just here to be cute. I'm here to also do some serious damage to the kingdom of the enemy, you know. So he understands that over the years, of course, in the beginning of our ministry, I wasn't, you know, the way that I am now, but over the years, he kept on training me, putting me out there, letting me know that, hey, we're in this together. We're in this together. We got to do this together. And I didn't take the back seat. A lot of women, I think, also take the back seat. Like, you know, you don't have to necessarily be a preacher because you're his wife. You're both preaching, but there are things that you can add. And it doesn't even have to be ministry. But whatever it is that your husband is doing, it should be something that you can add something to that. Yeah, you can add value to it. You can make it like, hey, this has to be better, because, you know, one person is doing one thing, but when two people get together, there should be fireworks going on, right, honey?
Yes.
There should be fireworks going on. And
well, I think it's a bad idea that we're cooking and talking at the same time.
well, I think it's
I'm not really into it
well,
today because
I think it's okay because people need to understand that a man is okay to be in the kitchen, and he's still in leadership. He's still the leader of the home. But we want to make sure that you see our lives, not just we talking at you, but you are actually a part of what happens in our home. And this is on a Saturday, my husband will be the one in the kitchen cooking. And for all the men out there that feel like they cannot do it, well, here we go.
and when they try, women, encourage them.
Yes.
For
So how
example,
do I encourage you? Not today, but like in other times, honey. How do I encourage you?
well, if it doesn't taste good, nobody is laughing at me or saying, oh, well, Daddy, this is so terrible. You know, you still receive it with joy.
Right. But for the most part, I mean, it does taste good. But so for
I forgot to put salt.
that's okay. We can sprinkle some on there. For the men that you feel like, well, I don't know how to cook. Why? Then you can really be there with your wife, and it doesn't have to be every day, but to show her that
But
support.
sweetheart, it doesn't have to be cooking too.
Right. It doesn't have to be cooking.
It's just to say that there should be things in the home
That we do together.
that we do together, or take the load off of each other.
That's a key word. Taking the load off of each other. Sometimes I'm tired. Like, there's some days my husband comes in the home and, you know, he goes in the kitchen and he looks for, hey, the stew is there, I'm just going to bring it out. This is there, I'm just going to bring it out. And he takes the load off of me. And, of course, we've already mentioned how I take the load off of him a lot. So it's important. Final note. It is so important for us to understand that we are in this together. Right, honey?
Yes.
We're in this together, and I think you're done cooking this, so I'm going to leave it, let it just, so we can, on the final note.
Right. Okay, so
We're in this together, and it's important for us to know that in order for you to make a marriage work and to make a home function well, you have to be in partnership.
That is true. So let me start by saying this. There's a lot of things on my mind that I would love to add to what you have said already. We want to appreciate everyone that has joined us today. So the first thing I want to say is sometimes the challenge is some women are afraid that if I give leadership to this man, he's going to treat me bad. So they recoil. They have to defend themselves. They have to fight back. You know, so why should I surrender or not surrender? Why should I give that role to someone that I don't think cares about me? I think the first thing to think about, because we have mixed audience, I'm sure there are people watching that are not married yet, people that are in relationship. It starts with the choice of who to marry. You know, if you want to marry, make sure you are getting married to somebody that you know you can
They care about you.
allow to lead you.
Right.
You
Right.
know, not just because he's cute or she's cute.
That's not enough.
That's not
okay,
enough.
because I'm cute, and that's not the only reason he married me, right?
Right. So it's important that we make sure from the jump, you know, as you are considering who to marry, you make sure you marry someone you know you are able
To submit
to. You know, because it may not be everybody that you'll be able to submit to as you ought to, as you should.
As a woman.
As a woman, you know. And the same thing also applies to the man. You make sure as you are going into marriage, you're ready for the duties and the responsibility of
taking over.
Of being in charge. You know, and being in charge sometimes means you are able to listen.
Right.
You are able to listen.
And also, I know that you normally mention that a woman, to know, so we said for a woman, how to know who to marry. Like, you want somebody who you know that, hey, I can submit to this individual. And then for the man also, you want to make sure that the kind of woman you want to marry is someone who is teachable. I know you use that word a lot, that she needs to be teachable.
Right. Well, the teachability goes both ways. You know, both the man and the woman, we all are work in progress.
And
we
can
both
also improve in the marriage.
Right, and that helps in our marriage relationship. Right. So I think it's very important that in marriage, leadership, yes, the man is in charge, but the woman is not chop liver.
Right. And you take into consideration her thoughts. You ask her, like, I know sometimes you'll come to me and say, in fact, because we do have this ministry, it plays a big role in our lives. A lot of times you'll have something that you want to do with church. You've already established, hey, this is what I would like to do, but you run it by me. Honey, this is, put your input, you know, so you can, even though you're in charge, you take into consideration that I have a brain as well. And I can make it better for you if you say, hey, honey, what do you think about this? You know, so that's really important to know to do in a marriage, I think. Right.
I'm trying to say, okay, so Yomi Adedeji is online again. He was with us the last time. He said he loves this program because he's trying to learn some things, because he's getting married in a couple of months. So congratulations to you, Yomi, and we pray that all goes well for you. Gracie is online. Gracie, good morning. How are you? How's your husband and children? So
Ify is also online. She said, kudos, guys.
Ify in Kemakolam, God bless you. Good to see you. If you have any questions, you can post your questions. We'll take questions now.
But I think we need to wrap it up also, honey. I think we're out of time.
Okay. All right. So if no questions...
The questions can come later. We can always go back and answer the questions.
Okay. Oh, hi, Alan. Alan just joined us. Alan Temi was with us the last time as well. Okay. So we want to keep this short. Nice and short. I think... my wife said we have gone past the time. I was so engrossed in the cooking. I will try not to be distracted next time. Doing two things at the same time, it doesn't work too well for me. You know, thank you guys. God bless you. I hope...
Do we have a final note that we want to say? On the final note, our show today was about what?
Well, our show today was about leadership in marriage. Who's in charge? The man has a final authority, has a final say in the marriage. That is the order of God. That's not the choice of man. That is the order of God. That is what God has put in place. And one of the things that I say often is, if we will follow the order of God, things will work well for us. If we follow the prescribed ways that God has set things for us, it will work very well for us. So on that note, I want to say, women, submit to your husband. That's what the Bible says. Husbands, love your wives. That's what the scripture says. You know, we don't have any other manual. That's the manual we have. That's what has helped us. That's what's worked for us. Is standing based on biblical principles. And that has helped us all the way up till now. So God bless you. Bye for now.
See you guys next time. We'll be again on next Saturday. And we'll let you know the time so far. And honey, what are we going to do about the fact that when I travel, we'll work that out and figure out, because I'm going to be traveling.
Right.
We'll figure it out. But see you next time. We love you very much. Talk to you soon.
Bye.